floor is all yours, Abdul.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Chelsea. Is everyone enjoying so far? Thumbs up. Yeah, thank you to Chelsea for having us, and it's been amazing for me. So to give a bit of background about myself, I'm into business and property with my mum. So we've been doing it since 2016. So originally we are like kind of accommodation providers, but typically the private market, dealing with kind of like high net worth clients, service accommodation, dealing with like Canary Wharf, central properties. So in expanding that business and taking it to the next level, I decided to go all in on the procurement of properties, partner up with landlords, partner up with developers, and that helped us expand our business to a certain level. Once we got to where we were comfortable, I continued to procure more properties, dealing with landlords, developers, and some agents. And that led to me getting involved deeper with service accommodation, social housing, and then supported living, which is when I got to understand deeper about the business. So what I'd want to just share about is what I've kind of understanding when procuring properties that work for supported living with certain parties, and then how you can go about negotiating that, different ways to do it the smoothest way possible based on your basically circumstances and your goals. So for me, obviously, when you want to get a property, there's 3 types of ways. You can either go, or 4, you can buy a property, then do whatever you want. But if you're going to be saving costs, you want to go through the leasing structure, which is what we specialize in, leasing properties. So if you're going to lease a property, you can either lease it directly with a landlord or directly with an agent. The third way is kind of working with someone like myself, who we call like a sourcing agent, someone who's not like a traditional estate agent, someone who works with you and understands your business. One of the issues you'll bump into is that a landlord or a typical letting agent won't understand all the things you're going through today, assisted living, supported living model, all of it. They'll just heard of, oh, it's a care home, the one where the kids burn the houses down, and they'll be very scared and they don't want to deal with it. Whereas someone who's a sourcing agent is experienced with dealing with people who do social housing, who deal with the council, people who do supported living, assisted living, so they've got a better understanding of how to negotiate for you and what types of properties. Like for example, with me, I'm always looking at detached properties, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathroom en suites, even though like I've just learned it's not a requirement. I just think, okay, if it's got 1 bathroom, it's not gonna work. If it's got stairs, it's not gonna work. You want detached house, 4 bed, 4 bathroom. So that kind of saves you in someone sending you 10 properties that 9 of them don't work. So working with a sourcing agent can be good. Now, if you're gonna go direct to landlord and agent, you're talking about just raw practical tools. For agents, you know, Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market, that's just gonna be your basic on how to contact an agent. Really, you wanna build a rapport with the agent and let them kind of know that you're gonna be in it for the long run. You're looking to procure loads of properties and building that relationship with them. Me personally, if I'm working with an agent, I always throw in that incentive of, look, in addition to you getting this over the line for us, because we're a company, we might be able to pay a more attractive rent. And with all the agents I work, I pay a bonus finder's fee for helping me get this over the line. That's just between me and you. So I say that to agents, usually helps them think of you first and letting them know your criteria in advance. So if something that comes up that's 6 bedroom, it's a HMO, they keep you at your top of your list. And usually I've got agents I did deal with 3 years, 4 years ago, they still consistently send me properties if that works for me. So that's how I'd work with agents. If I was going direct to landlords, base tactics of actual platforms that work, OpenRent, Gumtree, these are very good. Facebook Marketplace is what some of my students have been using very well. Now, when it comes to dealing with landlords, especially on these platforms, it's a hard grind because you're dealing and competing, quote unquote, with other providers, service accommodation providers, other support living providers, and people like myself who their full-time business is to find properties to source them. So really, I would say in terms of actual effort, if you're going to procure it yourself, I'd say it requires 2 to 4 hours focused effort per day consistently to get that. And in my numbers and other numbers is you need to go about through 50 properties to get like a genuine good lead that understands what you're going through, and then close rates of about 3 to 5 solid appointments for the person to understand for you to get a property. So those are my kind of experiences with numbers. Now, the types of landlords you want to deal with is very important. Now, in us doing our business, we've dealt with multiple landlords who've got 99 properties, landlords who've got 1 properties, landlords who lived in the properties, landlords who are just professionals. Really, you want to find somebody I think someone who's lived in a property is not a good landlord because they're very emotionally attached to properties. They care who lives in it. It's just difficult. It's a hard sell for them to give you the property and they want to check in on with it. I'd avoid someone who's lived in a property and moved out. It's not going to work well. Professional landlords are very good. I'd be careful in caveating what I call a greedy landlord, someone who's too into your business and they want to know a bit of this, a bit of that. So you want to find somebody who I call like a medium, a professional landlord who's maybe they've got a portfolio of 3 to 4 properties, maybe a bit more, and they basically understand you're a businessman and they're a businessman. You know, they understand your relationship. They want to do business with you. They want to build a long-term relationship with you because, as you said, you need a property for at least maybe 7 to 10 years on the lease. You don't want to rent it for 7 years, 10 years, and then they find out, okay, you're making X thousand per week, and they're like, you know what, I want to kick you out. I want to take it back. I've had conversations with landlords where I've got someone in this property, I've had it for 3 years, they're paying me 7K per month, but I think I can do better. I want to take the property from them. I'm like, do you know what? If someone's paying you a good rent, it's been for years, know when you've got a good deal, don't rock the boat, because these things are harder than they look. When people hear we're making X, Y, Z per money, they're just thinking, oh, do you know what? I can do that. With service accommodation, with support living, with social housing, it always is harder than it looks. But if you have someone who's, you know, I say the word is greedy. They think you're making so much money, they want to cut off from you and do it themselves. It doesn't work well for both of them, because I've seen landlords try it for themselves. They try to do a service accommodation, it fails. The person is not making money from the property's just now become defunct. You don't want to work with that. You want to work with someone who's, I call them busy, profit-focused landlords with their rent. They've got another business, they've got a life, they've got something where they specifically, please join us. Thank you so much. So I call them busy, profit-focused landlords. Someone who's got, maybe it's another business or full-time income. Like some of my landlords have got international business. They've had agencies. They've made a lot of money. They've made their money. All they look at their property is like, I'm not really fussed in what you do as long as you continue to pay my rent. Like, and they'll usually say those words verbatim. Like when I hear someone say that, like they'll say, obviously we all do corporate and legitimate business, but like, to be honest, I don't care what you do as long as you pay your rent. If they have that kind of attitude, they're usually a smooth, stress-free landlord. Now, in terms of supported living, I know there's a lot of capital that's required to get into the business, and then you can find yourself in a situation where, you know, you take on a property and for 6 to 12 months, you're not making income. So the way I would negotiate with landlords is probably like 3 ways. One would be you negotiate like an upfront model where you can pay them maybe 6 or 12 months, and it's greatly reduced if you've got the capital there. That way you understand with them and also negotiate what I call a break clause. So if you know maybe the property in 6 or 12 months, I don't know, if you're working with Chelsea, that probably shouldn't happen, but I've had situations where people have tried to do a support living on a property, 6 months later it didn't work, they have to give the property back, but they want a 3-year agreement. So you want to make sure you negotiate your break clause at 6 or 12 months, and then maybe pay that rent up front and express to the landlord what you're going through. I'm going through planning permission. I may or may not get it, or X, Y, Z. I want to have that flexibility with you so you understand how it's working for you. So the upfront method is really good because once you pay them, they're not going to bother you. You've got the time of the property. Second is like a joint venture. I know some people have had success in the business by finding someone they knew who was a landlord, owned a property, say, this is what I want to do. I'm willing to cut you in the profits because instead of covering your rent, that may be 3K, I'll just cover your mortgage. We'll split the mortgage, which may be 1K, which can be a very good partnership to do with a landlord and consider. And then the third way would be just paying them an above market rent and having that. If it's the rent's 3K, usually saying, okay, I can pay 3, 5 or 4, or let's have it reduced for the first year. And then once I get my registration, I will double it up, triple it up, or whatever you may. That's very, very good. So bless you, uncle. So those are really the ways dealing with landlords and agents. Dealing with someone like myself is I procure about 100 to 200 properties every single month that contact me, and all the landlords are pre-qualified to dealing with corporates. They understand social support or service accommodation at a base level. They don't want to deal with tenants, they want to deal with companies. What I kind of offer with Chelsea and I like is let me know where you're looking, your general area. Let me know the sort of spec, 4-bed, 4-bathroom en suites. I'll just send about 4, 5, 6 properties again and again. Then when it comes to the negotiation, we'll do something, whether it's the upfront, the split, the XYZ, or when we have a landlord who understands and maybe wants to partner with you or is happy to do that reduction and increase, we'll just present that, and if that works, that works.
Abdul, can I ask you a question? So, like I was saying earlier about the C2 licenses, is that something you could offer my clients potentially, supporting in finding properties that already have C2 licenses and are already built for purpose?
Yeah, so what does happen, unfortunately, people who have gone through the support living process and it hasn't worked for them, but maybe they got the planning permission or maybe it was prior used as a care home. We do get a lot of care homes that come up previously, but some of them are unique. They're 6 bedrooms or they're 12-bedroom care homes. So we do get these properties come up, but like, you know, they are gems in the dust or diamonds in the dirt. So if they come up, they're rare, they're high demand, but like we're saying, we're getting 100, 200 landlords contact us per month. We get variety of properties with the licenses, with HMOs, or they've been used as care homes before. So that does happen.
Thank you, Abdul.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Abs will be hanging around at the end, so if anyone has any questions they want to ask him, feel free to